standard procedure, Coach.
Yes, I know.
We got to take care of this.
That's fine.
All right,
I love the video. My mom likes the video.
Well, here, about to say, at one point, I probably hadn't seen you more intense in the last 97 seconds of an 11-point victory than you were a while ago. But really, I think you talked about yesterday in the pregame show, this team was starting to play its best basketball, and I think probably the play that maybe set the tempo for this ball game was Jeffrey Ricard's steal near the end of the first half. Flips it over to Fortenberry. Fortenberry ties a career high with 30 points today, one of his 5 3-pointers. And next thing you know, a 13-point ball game turns into a 16-point ball game at halftime, and that really kind of set the tone for the day.
Well, and in this place, you've got to pad this thing as much as you can. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sam Houston came in here just 10, 12 days ago, and we're up 18 in the second half and lost in overtime. These guys never quit. They're always very good at coming back. They make a run at everybody. They went to Oral Roberts while we were out there at UCA, and Oral Roberts on that swing. And they lost, it was a 5-6-point ball game the whole time. And Fred Hunter has just been on a tear in this league, the leading scorer in the league. And so you're just worried about, is your game plan going to work? Is it going to fall apart? Are they going to start making shots? They have some guys who stand out there. They didn't have Jeremy Smith today, who's a very athletic forward who can go get some easy buckets around the basket for them. And without him able to make a few intangible plays, we were able to exploit that pretty good, and we were able to keep them down. With him today, it might have been a little bit tougher. May have been more of a 75-73 type affair right there at the end. It might have been a little bit tighter game. But, they got it down to 6, and then we stabilized with some big shots. And Brandon Fortenberry was hitting it, and I didn't even have a feel. I knew he was shooting it well. I didn't know on what kind of pace he was on. But Mike Cyprian kept saying, Coach, we need to run another play for Brandon. Get it to Brandon. Get it to Brandon. And I knew we should be getting it to Brandon. I turned to him and said, well, what do you want me to do? Put it in his hands? But I knew what he meant. He meant let's keep running something that gets him a look. And so there were 2 or 3 plays in a row where all of a sudden I looked really smart because we got him open and he connected on shots. And, I just wanted our guys to feel good in that locker room. I know Roosevelt today, I haven't even looked at his numbers, but Roosevelt had 10 points on 8 rebounds, 5 turnovers. Struggled a little bit, only played 20 minutes, but the truth of the matter is, Roe did heavy lifting 9 days ago, and he helped us win a ball game. And then as a team, we played pretty well against Oral Roberts. I thought Dre was terrific. Tonight, Brandon was terrific. And as long as our team defense is very good, as long as different guys are being able to step up and play well for us at times, I thought Antonio Bent was great defensively tonight, guarded several different players out there, which was really important. I thought the guy that broke the game open for us, though, was freshman Roger Woods. He made outlet passes, he blocked shots, he grabbed rebounds, he had finishes, he had assists. He was a complete player in every way. And the future is very bright having a young man like that around.
When you talk about Roger Woods, 4 assists, tying a game high with Dre Evans in that ball for today. So,
he really just did some good work. I don't even know what his offensive numbers were, but 6 rebounds, 4 points, but just a complete game and a physical presence around the basket, and did some really good work for us today. But a great win, not an easy place to play, and
never.
To get this week, this puts us up 2 and 2.5 games on Nicholls and Sam Houston, and it gives us a great total. About 3 weeks ago, I remember talking to John Lenz from the Daily Star about we've tied a knot on the end of the rope, and now we're holding on. Before, we were on our fingernails. Now we've actually got a knot we're hanging on. Well, now I think we've taken a step up the rope. Top 4 teams get a bye in Katy, Texas. And now that we're in 4th place, solely ensconced in 4th place, we get 2 home games against a couple of Buttes coming to town. The top 2 teams, the 2 best teams in our league, Northwestern State on Thursday night, Stephen and Boston. So we'll enjoy this for now, but we're playing pretty well. It'll be good to be home against those teams, obviously. Hopefully we'll battle and do a good job.
Defensively, Coach, and you've mixed. A few years ago we had this conversation. We talked about the mad scientist. And today, a lot of mixtures of the zone and a lot of things with Fred Hunter. You knew he was going to get his points, but he was going to have to earn them. He got 20 today, but you talked about Roe Johnson. A lot of energy expended on Damon Bell-Holter on Saturday night. A lot of energy expended on Fred Hunter tonight. But you mixed some things up there. You saw a lot of Jeffrey Ricard coming in sagging, daring Shane Rillier to shoot the ball. Where he came in, you saw Roger Woods, Antonio Ben Ochi even came in a little bit on Hunter. But just a lot of things right there, a lot of good looks, and credit to really the
defensively,
staff.
you know, what we wanted, we had a good game plan, and it may work for 20 minutes, but this game's about adjustments. They go to halftime, you're thinking, okay, what are they going to do? And the first thing they did was they started entering the ball from the center, right at the top of the key, and they started posting them in the middle to take away our help. Jeff recognized it pretty well, but clearly when it got to 6 and 7 points, they got it down, and he was going, and we were getting into more and more foul trouble. I thought we've got to slow them down a little bit, and the zone Knicks worked. We did a little zone, we did a little zone to man, and we just kind of slogged, and like a wet towel over them, just trying to keep the game slowed, so they just couldn't come in and in 10 seconds score. They had to at least work 25 seconds to get it inside, and we had some pretty natural rotations there, and they weren't able to take advantage of it. And a couple of times, I think Hunter was so frustrated he was more worried about pushing and shoving than he was about catching and scoring. And and again, I think I said somebody, we hold them 22, 24. I'm happy. Holding them to 20 was really, really big. But a lot of great contributions. Brandon, I thought, was just terrific finishing out this game. That's what a senior guard of his prowess is supposed to do. And it was really terrific to see him play so well. But I thought a lot of good contributions. And, as I said, trying to get better every week. We only had one game to prove it this week. I thought we're getting there. We're getting there week by week. We're not great, but we're getting there week by week. And now we've got a real great test coming up with two terrific teams coming in. But it's going to be an interesting week because Monday we'll have a good practice, hard practice, and then Tuesday's going to be light because we have the holiday and everything. And I'm trying to save our energy, and I'm going to be recruiting. And Wednesday, we come back one more day to tune up. We've got to get ready for this onslaught of a fast break coming at us in Northwestern State.
Of a team of Northwestern State that comes at you in the wave.
Yes,
really their best players come off the second team. So you'll have a lot of it right there. But and really it's a contrast of styles next week. And we talked about it. Where you were kind of hoping going into Katy, but with Northwestern State, with their up-tempo, leading the nation in scoring, and then you got to turn around Stephen F. Austin. And it's a better situation now than it was the previous time, instead of with Stephen F. Austin first, right. And then, so talk about that a little bit more, just on the advantages, I guess, of trying to scout those two ball games.
Well, the thing about the first time we played Stephen F., we were about 12 minutes to go, it was still a very close ball game. And we weren't making plays. And that's a term we've been using a lot for 2 or 3 weeks, making good defensive plays, good offensive plays. We made plays tonight. But we couldn't make some plays, which it would have been an interesting ball game, I think, if we had. But we kind of just petered out in the last 12 minutes. They started to separate. We made one more little push at them, but they did a good job of getting the 10 to 15-point lead, and we never could come back. That really pulled the plug on us. We lasted about 3 or 4 minutes at Northwestern State. And we've talked about this before. The Thursday-Saturday turnaround is difficult, and you've got to have energy. And Friday is literally a rest day and walk through and maybe a little film. I don't want to drain them mentally. I don't want to drain them physically. And so your work has to be done early in the week. In the sense that you expend a lot of energy on Thursday, that it's going to be a very half-court game, and it's going to be measured and judicious on both ends of the floor. And we've had a pretty good game plan of slowing Stephen F. Austin down. It's just going to be a question of, can we make maybe an adjustment or two against Northwestern State that helps us this time? Can we execute the game plan even better and hopefully at home score? Because I think if we can get into the 50s against a very good defense of Stephen F. Austin, they just held UCA to 36 points at SFA, and they're very good in that building defensively. But if we can get into the 50s with them, I think we can win that ball game. But, any wins next week against a very good ball club, we're 3.5 weeks or so from Katy, a little under 4 weeks. Wow, it's we start imagining some scenarios, but really just getting better every day, not really looking too far ahead, seeing if we can get Northwestern State on Thursday night.
Head coach Jim Yarbrough here on the Bud Light Postgame Show. We'll wrap it up here in a minute. Your final Lions with a 73-16.